Hello and welcome to episode 1452 of The Sleeper and the Bust. It is Friday, September 19th. I'm your host, Paul Sporer, joined this morning by Justin Mason. Justin, there's a week left, brother. Did you realize that?
I did. And
I was a little mixed up, by the way, because I'm used to going in October. So I'm sitting there thinking we got like 2 weeks left, and I'm doing the sheet today. And I'm like, last week.
I'm excited. I'm also sad.
Always.
This is it's kind of a bittersweet point of the season where like I'm ready for it to be over, but I'm also a little bummed that it's over.
It'll take a week of October for me to miss the grind. I too am ready for a downturn in the grind, but it won't take long. I'll be in October like, man, I missed the day-to-day grind. And there's also the added, I don't want to say bonus, the added poop sandwich on top of my Tigers absolutely melting. They are absolutely melting down, and you'd have to be insane not to be super nervous if you're a Tigers fan right now. We got nothing after Tariq, and then the bullpen sucks. Anyway, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing about my Giants. Like my Giants, like 3 or 4 days ago, were leading the wild card, and now they're 3 games back.
Yeah, both of our teams just...
And playing the Dodgers this weekend, so that's not great either. So
Webb pitched great yesterday, but it was against Yamamoto, so like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, so it's I don't think I grew this playoff beard out, and I don't think I'm going to get any.
It's a good one though, but we'll see. We'll see. There's still time, and you guys finish with Cardinals in Colorado.
We've got an easy remaining schedule
6 at
after
home.
this weekend.
Yeah,
we got to take 2 from the Dodgers.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say. You got to rip some this weekend.
But we need a lot of help because there's now like 3 teams ahead of us for the last wild.
And that's always the worst part is when you need help. It's controlling your own destiny, obviously a big thing in sports. And when you can do that, that's huge. Win in your in type situation. But like you said, now with Arizona back in the mix, they never go away. They're cockroaches this year. Cincinnati kind of is too, where they didn't sell at the deadline the way Arizona and San Francisco did. But they always just keep lurking, even though they can't get over the hump. Mets are kind of gagging in their own way to kind of open the door for y'all. So we'll see how it goes. Meanwhile, my Tigers at least have a 3.5 game lead. They just got swept by the Guards. They do get them again next week after a trip to Atlanta this week. So
that's going to be a really interesting series.
It's going to be insane. It's going to be an insane series.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to this weekend they're going. I forget who the Tigers are playing. No, it's Atlanta. They're going to Atlanta.
No, they're home.
They're hosting Atlanta. I'm sorry. Yeah. Then going to Cleveland and Boston. Oh my God. At Cleveland, at Boston.
That's a killer end of the season schedule
there. I'm so scared, dude. I'm so scared. All year, just coasting. And as excited as I always was, I never thought we were like this unbeatable team. I was like, it's a good team. It's fun. Get this big lead, get in the playoffs and see what happens. Now I'm like, we're so done in the first round. It's not even funny. Anyway, let's get into the board today. It's a small board because I'm sure teams have things up in the air. Everything subject to change on this week's board, more so than any other board. First off, you have like 4 Monday games, which means most of these guys are on Tuesday, which means one little thing disrupts it. So good luck with the 2 starts next week. We do have a handful of autos. Chris Sale, Cade Horton, Freddy Peralta, Nick Pivetta, Merrill Kelly. Now, I know Sale is just recently back. Do you agree with him as an auto down the stretch here? Or do you want do you want the matchups, or do you need...
No,
okay,
I don't.
I think so, too. Just to flat out get him back in there. It's Washington, Pittsburgh, so even if you did need the matchups, they're amazing. He's an automatic. Anybody else in here give you any pause? Merrill Kelly, maybe?
Yeah, I think if there was one that maybe gives me a little bit of pause, it maybe is Merrill Kelly.
His matchups earned it. Like, he was maybe on the cusp for me. And then when I saw that he had Minnesota and then at Cleveland, maybe I'm wish casting that I desperately want him to cook Cleveland. But I figured those were good enough to kind of blindly roll with Merrill here.
And, I mean, he is coming off kind of his worst start pretty much of the season. I mean, at least since April 3rd.
Houston slapped him.
So, like, there's a little bit of tentativeness. But, like, at this point in the season, like you said, like, everybody's going to lose a bunch of 2 starts, and he's one of those guys that probably won't actually. So I think I'm still rolling with Merrill Kelly in every format.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree though that there might be situations in the shallower formats where you've got someone better and he hasn't been pitching as well as he did with Arizona, so maybe a little bit more on the fence, but I'm generally getting there. Let's get into the guys for the week. There's only one repeat. It's our very last guy, Ian Seymour, who we'll get into. Let's start with someone you've liked, and let's just get like one final check for the year on your boy Brandon Pfaadt. And I say your boy because you've liked him in the past, but you really weren't that keen on him this year. I think maybe you have a couple shares. Believe it or not,
I was fairly
okay,
keen
okay. I thought you had moved off, but I was wrong there. 5% walk rate is actually really good. He leads the NL in walks per 9 at 1.9. The problem always is, Justin, it's the homers per usual. It's 1.3 this year again. And the one thing I will say, the platoon got better. Well, that's actually the wrong way to say it. He has less of a stark platoon. That's because he got worse versus righties. He didn't get better versus lefties, Brandon Pfaadt. He has a 798 OPS against them, 785 against righties. What's the deal? Another tough season? Is this someone you're sticking with for next week? I'll tell you, it's going to be Brandon Pfaadt against the Dodgers and at the Padres. So that's really tough. And then what about next year after you give your next week answer?
I mean, he has really, really struggled this year away from home. He has a 3.15 ERA at home and a 7.29 ERA on the road. And that it really is shown in the home run rate. 21 home runs given away or given up on the road, and only 3 given up at home this year. He's just been absolutely atrocious when he is away from Chase Field in Arizona. It's the homer problem, right? I mean, this is what we say every year with Brandon Pfaadt is he just really, really struggles with the home run issue. Like the righty versus lefty splits haven't been as extreme this year, but he still just has been terrible on the road. So I have a really hard time using him. Even
the Dodgers is the home start.
Yeah, even with one home start left, like he's home versus the Dodgers, and then he goes to San Diego. I don't know how you use him here. He could go out and do what he did in his last start, which was completely dominate my Giants, who were one of the hottest offenses in baseball coming in. But he could also like do what he did against Minnesota or against the Dodgers last time, which aren't the kind of starts you want to finish with. Yep. So it's a huge crapshoot. I'd left him on my bench this last week, and kicking myself. I'm going to keep him on my bench or probably drop him for someone else this week.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. You can't be chasing your tail with Pfaadt. It's so scary, and I just don't see anything that suggests that he's going to get a lot better next year. So unless we see something, and we did see a little bit of this year about coming in with a new pitch and trying some things. If he is, I'll pay attention to Pfaadt, and I'll see what's up. He'll be 27 next year, but I have moved off of him. Now, you're a DCer. You play the Draft Champions 50-round draft and hold.
Actually, no.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
I stopped playing that this year.
That's right. You really didn't play any last year.
Yeah.
In those drafts, though, so theoretically more than in practice, is Pfaadt somebody you would take in, say, the 25 to 30 round range? I imagine that's where he's going to go. Okay, I'm there too. I'm not taking Pfaadt. So you're out.
Yeah, I'm pretty much out. Like if he was going outside of that range, I might take a gamble.
I was going to start higher, but I think he's still going to. Maybe I'm wrong on that pricing point, and maybe Pfaadt is outside of the top 30 rounds. Yeah. In which case, I would even maybe come back around, but I'm just not sure it's going to be down at that price point.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
All right, well, let's go to Mason Barnett for the Athletics. You might not be terribly familiar with him. Young guy out here getting some innings with them. It hasn't gone particularly well in his 4 starts. 7.56 ERA, 192 WHIP. I doubt a Houston-Kansas City double dip at home in Sacramento is going to do anything for you for Mason Barnett. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, I'm not touching this one.
Yeah, I didn't think so. What about Lucas Giolito at Toronto and home to the Tigers? Love you, Lucas, but can you really just mail it in that last one for me, brother? He's had some ups and downs, plenty of good this year, but sputtering a little bit down the stretch, including getting smoked by those Athletics last time out with 5 walks. In fact, the walks have been a pain point down the stretch here with 5, 3, 1, and 5 over his last 4 starts. Does that give you any pause about Lucas Giolito next week?
Yeah, a little bit of pause here, especially with the tough matchups. I think if you're looking for like just straight wins, because at this point you're looking to grab a handful of wins or maybe grab a handful of strikeouts. I can see the vision on that one, but he has not gone 6 innings in any of his last 3 starts. In his last start, he didn't even get to 5. So I think the total volume of strikeouts may be a problem, and there is just a lot of risk to the whip, especially. So I'm leaning away from this. But if you're win seeking, Boston's probably going to win some games down the stretch. They're still in this playoff race, so
Yep.
I wouldn't mind kind of taking a gamble with Lucas Giolito here, just if you're looking for wins.
Yeah, definitely some risk, but I agree with you on the win chase. If you can afford some crummier ratios, he might be your guy here. Let's go to Brady Singer, another guy that you've been a fan of in the past. I think you did move off of him a little bit this year, moving to Cincinnati, and I will say, I think he acquitted himself decently given how worried a lot of us were, myself included, at least initially. I read some stuff late that suggested that his arsenal could maybe survive in Cincinnati and that the change wouldn't be as stark. I still didn't parlay that into any pickups of Singer at the draft table, but he ended up doing pretty well this year. 30 starts, 3.86 ERA, 122 whip with a couple more on the docket here. Pittsburgh and at Milwaukee. How do you feel about Singer next week? And then again, generally, because you did have some concerns, as I did, about the move this year.
I mean, somehow in his worst, home run park
right
of his career, he put up his best home run rate. He just became smarter with his sequencing and the way he attacked guys, and had a little bit better command this year. So I'm intrigued by him, and I think for this week, you see that Milwaukee start at the end of the week, but Milwaukee's going to have everything wrapped up.
Yeah, that could be a AAA.
Yeah, exactly,
for them type vibe.
So, and you get Pittsburgh at the start of the week. I think this is pretty close to a must start here.
Yep.
I think you have to roll with it.
Yes. I don't know what you're looking for in a two-step if Brady Singer ain't it. He's not going to be available in your 15s, but your medium and shallow leagues, I think you're going to find some waiver opportunities for Singer, and I would jump there. Gavin Williams, again, not going to be available in the deeper formats. He's been better down the stretch, but even as notice, I haven't been throwing him in your face a bunch despite how good he's been, because I know that the whip that he's putting up, the skills that he has, makes the ERA a bit fraudulent. So it's a 3.06 season ERA, but a 1.28 whip. And I know the deal here, and your main concern has not been addressed with him, was that he was too volatile, was that he did not have enough command. In fact, his walk rate got significantly worse this year with Gavin Williams. And as I mentioned a few times this year, as somebody who's watched damn near all 30 of his starts as a big fan, it's frustrating, dude. It is frustrating. The talent is there, but the inconsistency batter to batter, inning to inning is maddening. He leads baseball with 81 walks. Again, put it all together, you got a 3.06 ERA, so there's a lot to like with Gavin Williams. But Detroit, Texas, both at home next week. Are the shallow leaguers definitely starting Gavin Williams without incident, or is it, if you need whip, you can't do it type of vibe?
I mean, if your whip is in trouble, that's the only
right.
Yeah, that's the only reason you're not doing this. I mean, from a strikeouts perspective, from a win potential perspective, Cleveland is hot at the right time of the season. He gets a ton of strikeouts. What is it like? 15, 24, 27 strikeouts over his last 4 starts.
Yeah.
Like you're starting this unless your whip is in trouble. I mean, that's really
if you can lose like multiple whip points, you can't start someone like Williams
or ERA. I mean,
ERA too, sure, but he's been good at ERA.
Yeah, while his ERA has been 3.04, he has a 4.47 xERA, 4.48 FIP. Like he could definitely get beat around a little bit, but the strikeouts are so damn good that I don't know how you don't start him here.
I tend to agree with Gavin Williams. Let's go to Shane Smith, somebody who's had a nice season again. You look back up and you say, hey, that is not too bad at all. 27 starts of a 4.06.
This was your guy, right?
Yeah, big Shane Smith guy. Actually jumped off board mid-season thinking, hey, I got the goodness, and I don't want to take all the rotten end. And he did have a lull, but then he bounced back, and he's had a nice second half, 3.70 ERA, 1.07 whip. So I think you could say I jumped off too soon. Closes with the trip to the Bronx and Washington, though. So how do we feel about Shano with his last 2 starts of the year? Going to get him to 29 starts if he makes both. Are you in on Smith, and has his season brought you in on him for next year?
I think his season has for sure brought me in on him for next year. I grabbed him in a couple leagues, like towards the end of a draft, largely based on your recommendation. And so
let's go. For once it worked.
Want to
Can
make
I
sure
get
you
past
get
the Craig Kimbrell one?
Yeah, no, you'll never get past
I know.
that.
For those that don't remember, I told him, don't draft him. Worst player, never going to do anything. Had a huge rebound season.
Yeah, it was like the number 2 closer
Yeah.
in fantasy or something like that year. So yeah, like I'm pretty interested in him for next year. For this week, man, Yankees start is
It's scary.
At the Yankees, especially. That's really, really scary. I think you're only really doing this if you are like just trying to load up on starts, right? Like, so I think I would much rather skip that one, and if I could do like skip the Yankee start and take the National start, I absolutely would.
Same.
So like, if this is one of those situations where like you're looking on the last of the season, like in an ESPN league, and you're like, the inning start or the starts limit, and you're trying to start as many guys on the last day as possible. Like, this is the guy I want for that last day, but I don't want that Yankee start if I can avoid it.
Really, I'm trying to stay away from that as much as possible. It is one of those where, again, if I got to take the Yankees to get the Nats, okay, but I'm doing all I can to just get the Nats start for Shane Smith. Just going into the Bronx is always scary.
I don't even know if I would take the Yankee start to get the National start. I think I'd rather go find
something else. I can't push back too hard on that because a trip to the Bronx is just so scary. And as well
the
as
hard part is if you need to start, it's like there's not a lot on the table that's available.
And that's what gets me back to Shane Smith, because like we said, like with Singer and Gavin Williams, they're not going to be available in the deeper leagues. Shane Smith, someone who could be. Actually, no, I'm gonna amend that. No, he's not, because he has a 3-something ERA in the second half. So he's actually more in those medium, shallow leagues like Gavin Williams and Brady Singer. And we'd take both of them over Smith because the Yankees start.
I'm looking down the rest of the list. I don't know if there's anybody else I would take over Shane Smith that might be available.
Right. I think that's fair. Okay, so I'm still going to get there in a lot of spots despite the Yankees start.
I probably will,
I think I have to.
I don't want to, though.
I don't either, but you got to hold your nose and take it, and then you hope for like 7 scoreless against the Nats to make up for any potential damage against the Yankees. All right, let's move on to, oh, God, Jack Flaherty, do I have to? At Cleveland, at Boston. I mean, good luck. I don't want to talk about Tigers right now. You go ahead.
I mean, I think this is another one of those where you kind of just have to do it, right? Like
I agree, yeah. In deeper leagues, at least.
And like 3 of his last 4 starts have been pretty darn good. Like, including his last start versus Cleveland and his
how'd that go for a win? We didn't get one.
Well, he got to win at the Yankees. So like,
that doesn't do any good right now, does it?
I think you are starting him in just about every format here.
Yeah, that's fair, and I agree. Obviously, I'm playing it up, being angry at the Tigers, but like, and even Flaherty, he's had a lot of inconsistency, not some inconsistency, a lot. But as Justin points out, you look over his last 4, 3 of them have been pretty good. One little rough outing against the White Sox, which was annoying, but again, they're better, so it's not even like he's losing to the crappiest team in the world. The bottom line is, though, 780, 5+ earned is hanging over your head. He has 6 such starts this year. And so you're taking a big risk, but I just don't know how you get away from Flaherty. He's one of the best combos of upside and win potential who could even be available in medium shallow leagues.
If you look at just his second half, he has a 4.50 ERA, but he's got a 2.90 FIP. It was really 3 blow-up outings.
Yep. That
absolutely crushed him. And Kansas City, Chicago, and Minnesota.
And I'll tell you, the Kansas City one, because that's freshest in my mind, was a 1 bad inning situation for sure. I want to say the White Sox one was too. And that's classic Flaherty, where he'll have a meltdown inning and he'll look like a god in the other 5-6 innings of a start, but that 1 inning ruins it. And that's classic Flaherty.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, well, good luck. It will be scary next week. Let's talk Cristian Javier. He's going to go to the Athletics and to the Angels. By the way, our next guy is actually going to do the same thing in reverse. Cole Ragans. He's going to go to the Angels and to the Athletics. I just found that kind of interesting. But with Javier, let me see what he's been. I know he's up to 7 stars. His home run rate is down, because I was going to say, if his home runs were up, that's like the worst combo you can get, Athletics, Angels, because the Angels, the only thing they do is hit homers, and Athletics, obviously Sacramento's a very scary park now. But he does have a .8, which is the best of Javier's career, albeit 32 innings. Do you dare start him here at the Athletics and Angels?
I think you kind of have to. I mean, he's gone
As a wins chase, for sure.
Yeah, he's gone 6 innings in 3 of his last 4 starts. He has a 4.03 ERA, but it's a 3.59 FIP. He's getting strikeouts. The walks are going to be the issue. Like, can he keep guys off base via the free pass, which he's done over the last 2 starts. Only 2 total walks over his last 12 innings. I think you're starting him in just about every spot, especially because you have that Houston offense behind you, potentially giving you an opportunity to win.
Yeah, I think so too. I think as scary as the Athletics venue is and as respectable as the Angels can be at times when they get to their homers, they're still not a team I'm ever going to run from with a competent pitcher on a good team. Again, I think this is one of your better opportunities for wins and ratios in a shallow league. And there's a chance that there's some Javier availability in those shallower formats. Cole Ragans, I have no idea what is available. Go ahead.
I'll say he is available in 2 of my NFBC 15-team leagues right now.
There you go. So yeah, Javier availability is going to be out there more than maybe you think. Cole Ragans, I don't know what his availability is going to be. The fact that he's coming back so late in the year makes me think that there might be some availability. Now, he did return, so he's back on people's radars. It was 3 2/3 of okay ball, 1 hit, 2 walks, but a 2-run homer in there. 4 strikeouts. He's Cole Ragans. So obviously if you have him, you should start him. But what about picking him up? Again, for the trips to the Angels and the Athletics, reversed from Javier's starts there. Do you just go for Ragans because he's Cole Ragans and he's a stud and anywhere you can get him, you want him? Or are you nervous that you're going to get like 6 combined innings here?
Yeah, I think that's what you're probably going to get is you may get 7 total innings from these 2 starts. And that
so then, let me interrupt you real quick.
Yeah.
So even if he's available, don't just jump at Cole Ragans saying, it's Cole Ragans, I have to get him. You might only get 1 combined start in terms of the volume.
Especially with a trip to Sacramento at the back end that he may not even get, right? Like they may just say, okay, we're shutting you down after this first start. The athletic start is on Sundays. So there may not be any reason for him to even go out on the mound. I'll be more in on him next year because he finished the year on the mound.
Yes, that's a big deal for us. We want to see guys return from their injuries. Doesn't guarantee anything, but it is nicer to see that they made it back and that you can have some confidence about where they're at next year. So I too will be back on Ragans, but for this week, just be careful, again, because you might see the name and think,
I think a lot of people are going to see the name, but there's so little upside from a guy who can only go 4 innings.
Yes. And that's really the problem is we just don't know what kind of volume we're going to get. All right, what about Caden Dana, Kansas City and Houston, both at home for the Angels? He's going to be facing Ragans and Javier. Anything for Dana?
I don't think so. I mean,
not this year.
He's only gone 5 once this season, and over the last 2 starts, he's gone 4 2/3 and 3 2/3, giving up 5 earned runs in each of those. Too many walks.
Literally, what I was about to say. Yep.
Yeah, his walks per 9 this season is 6.52.
And 5 in the minors as well. So this is not a new small sample thing.
And a 2.33 homer per 9.
You can't do both.
No.
If you're going to walk that many, you can't give up homers. And then, if you give a bunch of homers, you don't want to walk. Like, you can't do both. So, nothing for Caden Dana. And maybe nothing in the future either. But at the very least, he can stay on my radar. But if he doesn't fix that walk rate,
he is a top 100 prospect. So, I'm not
that's what I'm saying.
The guy. But
on my radar. But, with that kind of walk rate, I need way more from you right now.
Absolutely.
What about Ryan Weathers going to Philly and hosting the Mets? He came back, a couple starts now? He's been back. 2 starts. So again, availability probably drying up a little bit, but probably still going to have some pockets out there. Trip to Philly's a little scary, and the Mets, you respect them despite their, fumbling into this finishing line as well. My buddy Paul and I just whining to each other about our awful teams. What do we think about this here for Ryan Weathers? We jumping on him?
I think if he's available, I might take the gamble here. He only went 4 against Colorado, but it was in Colorado, and he kind of got BABIP to death.
8 hits.
444 BABIP in that one. Looked pretty good in that first start back against the Nationals. He stretched out. I don't know if he makes both of these starts with Miami considering they're not really in or playing for anything, and his last start is a Sunday start. But I think you can take the gamble in a deep league where you're just trying to get some strikeouts. The problem is the first start is at Philadelphia, and do you really want to mess with Philadelphia right now? Even though they have their division wrapped up, they're still technically vying for that for that first seed. Only 3 games behind Milwaukee right now. So I think I just talked myself out of it, actually.
Yeah, I think that is fair to be very concerned here with Weathers, because it could be another low inning situation, could be skipped. I think I'm getting there in some spots because he's a quality arm, but I have to keep my expectations in check. You can come out with no wins. You can come out with 8 total innings, so you do have to be careful here. I was going to say something else, and I completely forgot. What were you saying again? Repeat everything you said in the exact way. No, I'm kidding.
You can tell it's the last week of the season, right?
Right. You had mentioned that he might not get the start, and you are right, because they could just say, forget it. It's Sunday, just pack it up. The counter to that would be he only has 33 2/3, and they might want to get him as many innings as possible. So if they can get him 12 innings this week, just to kind of tack on a little bit to the back end, they could do that with Weathers. So I can see either case in terms of like the shutdown versus just give him any innings that we can get to finish the year.
The hard part, though, is the matchups, right?
Absolutely. That's the scariest part for Weathers. Absolutely.
He is facing Philadelphia, who's the #1 team in OPS over the last 30 days. And then he's facing the Mets, who's the #2 team in OPS over the last 30 days.
I remembered what I wanted to say. The Phillies, did you see how they burned bettors? Which nobody cares, who cares about
I didn't
burning bettors? As somebody who partakes sometimes myself, the world does not revolve around it, and never, ever message a player about your stupid fucking bet. No one cares. But anyway, there's kind of like a tradition after a clinch to kind of put out the AAA lineup, after the clinch night. They didn't because they were facing Shohei, and they wanted to get a look at him, of course, in case they face him in October. So they put the full go out there, like, no, we're going to put an actual championship team. Now, he cooked them, but then they actually beat up the bullpen. They cooked Wrobleski and ended up winning that game. But yeah, usually after a big clinch, they put in the B lineup because everyone's hung over, and you can kind of get a free win there. So I don't know if anyone preemptively bet the Phillies thinking, oh, this is going to be great. And then all of a sudden they put out the A lineup there. So I just noticed that as something that I used to look for, after somebody would clinch, are they going to put out the scrubs? All right, let's go back to the list here. David Peterson is going to go to the Cubs and to Miami. Peterson's had a pretty good overall season, but he's had some ups and downs, and he's been sputtering to the finish line. So I think if you're looking at the overall picture, you're like, hey, he's been good for me. If you've been with Peterson down the stretch here, you're like, this guy's burning me down the stretch. Do you stick with him in these final 2 starts?
I mean, he has been absolutely brutal down the stretch. All the good luck that he had at the beginning of the season, he's getting all the bad luck in return. Over his last 7 starts, he has a 7.86 ERA.
That's crazy. That's crazy, dude.
The crazy part is I was saying all throughout the first half that David Peterson, I know he's got this amazing ERA, but the underlying numbers are saying he's supposed to regress. His FIP right now over these last 7 starts, where he has a 7.86 ERA, is 3.41. He's just getting extremely unlucky. He's got a 3.92 BABIP. Now he's walking too many guys. He's walked 18 guys in his last 34 1/3 innings over this 7-game stretch. But he is getting pretty unlucky, and so there's part of me that's hey, maybe he could bounce back down the stretch, but I don't know that I'm risking it. Especially if the Mets clinch or are out of it by Sunday,
and just rest him. And that's the good one, right? Our classic, that's the good one on the second half there. David Peterson gets at Miami, the one you really want. And like you said, if the Mets are either all done or all in, they might not want to start Peterson to rest him for the playoffs. So this is the only
way he goes 5 innings in this last start is if they are trying to clinch on Sunday. Which there is no real guarantee of that at this point.
Yeah, we have no idea. So that one looks more appealing than it might be. That could be a trap card there with David Peterson. I'm not saying don't play him. I'm just saying there's a lot of risk associated with that. So be careful. Luis Gil is going to get the White Sox and Baltimore both at home. So you figure win play at the very least. Not that he's a guarantee for 5, but like, better team for sure. Anything beyond that with our boy Heel, who we loved last year and, of course, missed virtually all of this year. He only has 9 starts. Do you like him down the stretch here with his walk rate, which is at 5.7 per 9?
I mean, overall, he's been pretty decent. 3.33 ERA. It is the walk rate that has led to a 150 WHIP this season. So if your WHIP is in any peril, I'm not starting him. But other than that, I'm probably starting him anyway. Any
wins, K's needs, I'm starting Heel. Anything WHIP, I agree. I think I am passing because he could just do so much damage. But yeah, it is situational, and I do lean toward yes on a lot of Luis Heel stuff. All right, what about Bryce Miller, who, starting at the year would have been on the auto starts for quite some time. That fell apart. He had a big injury. He was bad before it. He's been okay since returning. Now we look up and it's a 5.58 ERA, 141 WHIP in 81 innings. Did have 11 punches against the Angels. Came back with a 5-inning 3-run on 8 hits at the Royals. It's okay. Anytime people want to get their confidence back in Miller, he usually brings them back to earth. And the big issue this year, Justin, has been his homers. 1.7 mark for Bryce Miller. Can you trust him here with Colorado and the Dodgers? Now the Dodgers is the second one. You'd love for him to get rested, but I think that they're going to start him either way because he only has 81 innings on the year.
Well, and like 8 of his 15 home runs this year have come since he's returned from the IL.
That's not good.
So, yeah, like he's really just not had his command since returning. I have a really hard time starting him here. I think this is another one of these guys, kind of like Ragans, where people are going to be like, well, look at the name. It's Bryce Miller. Like,
you're exactly right.
And I don't know that I want to do this. Now, he does get a home start versus the Rockies.
Yep.
And the Sunday start against the Dodgers may either get, be a shorter start, or he may not start at all. If
You'd almost like that.
Yeah, like he may just get pushed if the, Mariners kind of know what their fate is in terms of, the division and the wild cards. So
right.
I think I would kind of lean towards taking the gamble for that Rockies start, because it is the Rockies, who traditionally, really, really struggle in their first, few starts away from home. And this is the first start on a road trip for them. But it's a risk because if for some reason he does need that Sunday start, like even the Dodgers B lineup is better than a lot of A lineups.
You answered my next question, which is like, what if they don't give a crap about the game and they're and you're right, like they're still going to have talent. They can't put in a full lineup of scrubs, so there's still going to be some studs.
It's not like the old days when we had 40-man rosters.
Exactly.
They still have to play some of their good guys.
Right. You can't even make a whole new lineup the way you could back in the day, where those clinch lineups could literally be an entire AAA lineup because you could have 40 men on the roster. So that's a good point there, that even a muted Dodgers lineup is still probably going to have 2 or 3 of the mega studs, just by virtue of the fact that they only have 5 extra players on the bench there. So be careful with Miller. It is enticing, and I can see getting there, but there's a lot of risk to it. Mm-hmm. Justin Verlander closing strong, and I love to see that. Again, deep leagues, it's an auto. I don't think anybody's even questioning it. What about those shallower formats for Verlander? Are you trusting his surge down the stretch to get him in the lineup for St. Louis and Colorado? I got to think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to. I mean,
he might even be on the auto start list for this final week, to be honest.
I think he's pretty damn close. I think like when I do my 2 starts article today, he'll be in the should start tier.
Yeah.
He's just been fantastic over the course of his last 5 starts. Verlander, over the course of these last 5 starts, has a .87 ERA.
Gotta love it.
28 strikeouts in 31 innings. He's gone up against some really good teams in the Dodgers, the Cubs, and the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks who are, streaking right now. I don't know how you don't start him.
I knew the Tigers should have traded for him at the deadline, and I'm not even kidding. You guys were selling too.
I'm shocked the Giants didn't sell him. Like I wonder,
very sellable.
I wonder if he just said, "Listen, I don't want to. I don't want to move." Like,
I could see him saying, "Hey, let's give it a go with what we got here."
My question is, are the Giants going to bring him back?
That's the interesting part. Yeah. Like make it, another 1 year deal. It was 15 this year. Maybe they do it at the same price or a little bit cheaper. But yeah, great finish for Verlander to show that he's still got juice in the tank. The other king of the era announced that he's going to retire, Clayton Kershaw. I guess they're kind of a three kings because I put Scherzer right up there with them.
Yeah.
But now Scherzer, Verlander, we'll see if they're going to stick around. Kershaw going to go out after this year.
Verlander is going to stick around.
Verlander's going to have the jersey ripped off. He's one of those classic guys where it's like he's probably going to have a couple rotten seasons at the end, just squeezing out some innings, but it's because he's going to go until the tank is below empty.
Well, he's going to try to be the last guy to get to 300. He's not going to get there, but
that's what I'm saying.
He might be 65 out there throwing ball.
Just trying to steal. When they change the rules to a 4-inning win, he returns.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I'm back in for a few more dubs. All right, let's finish it off. Oh, wait, we got two more here. We got Michael McGreevy, who's been pitching pretty well of late, at the Giants, at the Cubs. That is not a fun little two-step there for the Cardinals prospect. What do you think of McGreevy coming off an absolute gem against Cincinnati and a really great outing in Seattle, his last two, after your Giants cooked him for 6?
McGreevy's a really interesting prospect. I mean, he was, I think, a borderline top 100 guy. Good command. He's only given up 8 home runs this year, and has shown really good control. The stuff just hasn't been as strong as I think we expected it to be. He's never been a super strong stuff guy,
right?
In particular, but I kind of expected more than a 91 stuff plus.
Yeah,
from a guy who's been a really interesting prospect. In the minor leagues, he definitely profiles, I think, more long term as kind of just like an innings eater, Kyle Gibson-ish type of guy. Like
Miles Michael, he's a perfect Cardinals vibe then, right? Because they love those guys.
So as far as this week goes, if you need strikeouts, you're not going to get him. If you need wins, you're not going to get him. I just don't know if there's the upside to take from this.
Yep,
that makes sense, especially with a Cubs start at the back end. I mean, at least you're at San Francisco for the first one, but
I don't even love that necessarily. That's a great place to pitch, but your boys don't make me feel awesome.
They've been top 10 in OPS over the course of the last month too. So
so it's scary.
I don't know that I really want this one. I just don't think the upside warrants the potential downside.
That's the thing. So there's no real Ks. He's had 5.6 for the year on a per 9 rate, 15% for a rate. That's terrible. I can't even overstate how terrible that is of a strikeout rate. So you're not getting strikeouts. Your win potential is light. So you're really betting on ratios, which is just scary to bet on. And it's against a playoff team and a playoff fringe team there with the Giants. Mm-hmm. Too scary here for Michael McGreevy. Be very, very careful. I'm trying not to do this in any way, shape, or form. And then our final guy is our only repeat of the week. Ian Seymour got pushed off of his 2-step last week. He'll get it this week. Young Rays lefty who's very exciting. We're going to hear a lot about him in the offseason. That's kind of a next big thing. That's my prediction is we're going to see a lot of sleeper articles about him, and I get it because I'm part of it. I'm into him. Super interested in him, even though it's at Baltimore and at Toronto, even in shallow leagues, because he's not going to be available in deep leagues. I want Ian Seymour on my team next week, though, despite the tough matchups. What about you?
I think I do too. Since joining the rotation on August 25th, he has 26 and a third innings over those five appearances, because one wasn't the start. I think he had an opener for one. But he has 29 strikeouts and a 137 ERA, and it's a 186 FIP. So I don't even comment well, he's been getting lucky. I don't think he's maybe getting a little lucky. I don't think he's getting that lucky. The stuff is really, really good. It's got a full repertoire. It's got good command, good control. I'm really excited about Ian Seymour. I think the only issue with this week is what do the Rays do? Yeah, down the stretch. Now, he did just go 7 innings in his last start against Toronto, of all teams.
And what's their competitive situation? They're they're far fringes. They're not really in it.
Yeah. I mean, Toronto's pretty much got everything wrapped up.
Yeah.
I mean, technically the Yankees can catch them because they're only 3 games back, but they're in the playoffs.
So Toronto on Sunday could be, Bo, Vlad, and Springer sitting type of vibe. Isn't Bo hurt actually right now? He might already be sitting.
I think he is.
But either way, it could be Springer, Vlad and and Varsho sitting or whatever, just to name a few of the better guys, and that could end up being a better spot there for Seymour. I think I like him either way though. Even if they put out their full lineup, just give me a talent like that. There's going to be some There's going to be some availability for Seymour in 10-teamers, and I'm going for him.
I think the only scary part. Oh no, they're on the road. Oh yeah, so no, there's no
double roadie.
I think you have to start Seymour in most spots.
Yeah. I don't know how I get away from it. I know there could be some Rays funkiness where you could get 8 total innings. It's a risk you have to take. The upside's too rich. All right, there it is. Short board. Not too many names. And again, a lot of these could get mixed up. Next week is very treacherous and difficult. Just don't bank on too much, right? Like make your best decisions with the information that you have in front of you, but understand that it's going to be upset, right?
And those of you in daily leagues, make sure you're just paying attention to what the news, like, right?
Yes,
like if you are in a daily lineups league, make sure you are paying attention to lineups. Make sure you are paying attention to like any sort of news, because some managers will say like, "Hey, he's only going to throw 70 pitches today."
Yep.
So
you can get that sort of news ahead of time on some guys, and maybe you don't start somebody who's going to be limited. So it's a lot of the legwork down the stretch here, but it's worth it. We're trying to win titles here, so you really got to stay in tune to see what they're going to be offering you there down the stretch. Good luck to everyone chasing their stuff. Again, I'm just kind of making my lineups, holding the fort, and trying to win a couple DCs there with Greg. I know you're chasing some things. What's your status down the stretch?
Yeah, I finally officially fell out of it in my big money auction league.
Damn,
I'm gonna finish in 4th, and it's a bummer.
4th right there.
Now I'm still leading my TGFBI league. I'm leading the Gladiator. I'm still, I think, an outside chance maybe I could do something out, but mostly it's my TGFBI league, a Gladiator too, and then a pretty disappointing overall year, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you. But our boy Greg, second in the main behind Todd Hoppy, about 300 points back. He got it as close as 100, and then it's kind of inched back up. So yeah, we'll see. One more week for him. Second place, obviously amazing. Of course, he wants to win, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, Justin, have a good one. Are you and Jason going to be getting together on Sunday, you think?
I believe we are.
All right, and I think we're going to have a weekend episode with the boys. We're going to have Joe. Mm-hmm. And are you going to join us for that this afternoon?
I'm going to definitely try. As long as work doesn't get in the way, I will I will definitely try to be there.
So, yeah, we're putting together something for this afternoon. We're finally going to do those meatball starters. Again, that's very evergreen, so we weren't too worried about that. And that'll go up on Saturday. So, all right, Justin, thanks so much.
And then we'll be here all off season. So
That's right. We're not, October, you're going to get a couple eps. That's the biggest lull that we have in the off season, and then back at it. So we'll even have, one a week during October. I think we'll commit to that.
Be in Arizona here in like
about a month and a half.
About 6 weeks. I just booked my flights. I'm ready to go. Like it
comes so quickly, dude.
I can't wait. And projections are going to be coming for me here. When you're
starting them? You starting them now?
Literally going to start them on Sunday.
That's psychotically awesome.
We will finish Sunday, and I will set up the sheet, and I will start editing and making projections. So, my goal had been this year to make sure my projections were done by January 1st, completely done, where all I'm having to do is update from injuries and things like that. So, and I'm really hoping that I will have the majority of them, if not all of them, done by the time we get to Arizona at the beginning of November. So
that's incredible.
That is my hope. Will that happen? Probably not. But
I like the target though. Yeah. Because I know that they took you a little while. The second half took you a little while last year versus what you were looking for. So yeah, I think starting this early is great, and we're already getting rankings preparation going. We already had some conversations about that. I'll actually talk to you about that. We had some with Dave and company. So we're already going to be getting rankings. Baseball doesn't stop, y'all. It doesn't stop. So as much as we're lamenting the end of this season, we'll be right back at it with the next one. So we'll talk later today, Justin, and then you and Jason will talk on the weekend. Have a good one.
Take it easy.